Hello, I'm Maria Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. Well, in 1909, urban planner Charles Mulford Robinson said that the streetlights of Los Angeles were the handsomest in the world. The street lamps have an amazing history here in LA, and they continue to tell their own story. I'm delighted to be joined today by the Executive Director of the Bureau of LA Street Lighting, Miguel Sangalang.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here.
The mission of the Bureau of Street Lighting is to light the way for Los Angeles. I love that mission.
All right, so let's actually talk about the Bureau legitimately. Sure. 250,000 lamps.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot of light bulbs to change.
Yeah, it is. So 250,000 lights connected by 9,000 miles of underground conduit, 27,000 miles of copper wire that power the whole system. We cover almost every neighborhood in the city of Los Angeles. 2 out of 3 streets in Los Angeles will have a street light on it that we manage.
This must be a really fun celebration to celebrate 100 years and all the stories that these lamps tell.
The street light today is part of the background, right? It's something that we know is there. It provides the service, but the genesis of it, the history is far more kind of creative and innovative than I think one might think.
It's my understanding that each neighborhood kind of was responsible for the design of their own lamps in order to represent the neighborhood. So there's an enormous diversity of style and artisanal qualities to all of these.
That's right, that's right. And what we have now is a unique collection of over 400 different designs. Wow. And that's spread throughout the 470 square miles of the city, right? And it pretty much, as you said, kind of grew up with the city. Different neighborhoods, as they would rise and they would want street lights, they would design their own. So you have Wilshire specials, you would have things like the Broadway special, Hollywood special, Van Nuys special. So there's just different ones that the neighborhoods would kind of adopt and say, this is the one that we wanted.
I think they could legitimately be called art. I mean, some of them have turned into art pieces. Obviously, I think most people know Urban Light, which is in front of LACMA. Right. Are there other art installations that have been done with former practical lights that are now not practical but still worth our attention?
Yes, Sheila Klein's Vermonica that actually shows the progression, time progression of all the different street lights.
With all of the diversity of street lamps to choose from, what is, as the executive director, your favorite?
Well, if you're going to put me on the spot like that, I would say the Wilshire special that we have is an amazing piece, again, just because it kind of harkens back to that origin of us. And it's huge. You would never we have them in the field right now. You would never expect that while you're walking on a sidewalk, there's this 5-foot tall, 2-foot wide, like gargantuan streetlight. When you have it next to you, it's that big, right? But when it's up there, it just looks like any other streetlight. Not to say nondescript, but like unassuming kind of light that has a great history. One of the things that most people don't know about the Bureau of Street Lighting, we're one of the largest municipal deployments of EV chargers on the right-of-way.
I was going to ask you.
So about 700, we expect to have about 900 by the end of this fiscal year. And those are great opportunities for us to ensure that we are approaching transportation electrification in an equitable way.
And is it being rolled out in certain neighborhoods? As you said, you were looking, for an equitable solution to something like this when EV chargers may not be able to go into a neighborhood that had the resources for it. So is it specific?
We're looking for existing markets and hoping to create emerging markets. What I mean by that is we're going to places where there have been requests, high demand, where we've placed chargers. We're looking at our analytics and seeing should we place another one close by. right, in order for people to have more usage. But we're also trying to get into places that we don't necessarily see what I would say the private sector. So we're trying to go into places like Hyde Park, right, like South LA, like the Valley, right? So get away from just what traditionally people would think. That is not just a privilege to have. That's something that we should all have.
Are we ahead of the game when it comes to technology and advancements for something like the Bureau of Street Lighting? Or are we looking to other cities to see how they are doing it and then following suit?
When you look at the world as a whole, there's obviously going to be some places that might do things better here or there, and different types of technology. On average, though, I'd say LA is on the cutting edge, the further ahead than the pack. And I'll say this for a couple things. There's a reason why we became one of the first 5G cities in America, and that's because we started attaching telecom equipment to our streetlights, right? And so we made something that was originally a single use. Now, granted, that single use was transformative. We lit public spaces and made it so people can congregate, have commerce, made it feel safer, right? But the service was the street light. Now we're adding other things that not only reduce the cost of infrastructure itself, but make it so that there's new services that can go onto the city, like 5G connectivity, right? So LA became one of the first 5G cities in America back in 2017, 2018, and that's because we started working together with industry practitioners to see what else we could do.
Very, very cool. All right, so you've worked with the city for a long time. I mean, you've worked in the mayor's office, you know, through a couple of tenures of different mayors, and now you're here and you've been here. What was the biggest surprise coming into this bureau when you looked around and saw what your opportunities were and what your challenges were? The scope of the bureau, the opportunities in the bureau, the history, the fun, the possibility? What was it that you really went, oh, wow, this is cool?
What I was most impressed with was the people when I came in here, because of their willingness to actually try new things. And because of the people, we have tremendous potential, right? So when we're talking about these new technologies, these more efficient ways to light the streets, we're talking about connectivity with telecom partners. We're talking about dynamic lighting. We're talking about air quality sensors that can help inform policymakers about what's going on in their neighborhoods right now, right? So the people actually led to some of these progressions, right? These new things and these opportunities that we have. And so the Bureau itself, with what it has, again, 250,000 streetlights, an electrical system, this penultimate electrical system, that when we're thinking about the future of the city, is going to empower a lot of the new services that we do now. We actually see ourselves now as more of a platform, right? So yes, we have the street light, but there's many different things that you can attach to it, right? There's many different services that you can create from that point there, where we have a very valuable piece of real estate on the public right-of-way that has energy.
Well, people want to learn more about the 100th anniversary, or just about how to call in if they need some help with the lighting on their streets, or just have any questions. What's the best way for people to get in touch? The best way for people to get in touch, well, two things, right? If there's any issues that you have with street lighting, please log your service request with MyLA 311 or call 311 itself. For all other things, and if you're inquisitive about our history, please visit lalights.lacity.org. Thank you so much. This is really, really fun. And that's a wrap on this LA Current.